In 1956, a 13-year-old boy sat down across from one of America's strongest chess players, Donald Byrne. Nobody expected what happened next. That boy was Bobby Fischer, and the game he played that day is still called the game of the century. Fischer was a kid from Brooklyn. Byrne was an international master, decades of experience, one of the best in the country. This was supposed to be a teaching moment. It turned into a masterclass, just not the one anyone expected. The game opens with the Grunfeld defense. Byrne plays d4. Fischer responds with knight f6 and g6, fianchettoing his bishop. Standard stuff for Fischer, who loved this opening. By move 10, Byrne has a solid position. He's developed his pieces, controlled the center. Everything looks normal. Then move 11 hits. Fischer plays bishop g4. And suddenly, Byrne is uncomfortable. The bishop pins the knight, creates pressure on the center. Byrne tries to sidestep with bishop g5. Move 11, knight a4. Fischer sends his knight to the edge of the board. This looks bizarre. Knights on the rim are supposed to be dim, but Fischer sees something nobody else does. After queen a3, knight takes c3. Pawn takes c3, knight takes e4. Fischer is ripping the center apart. He's sacrificing position for activity, creating chaos that only he can navigate. Move 14. Bishop takes e7. Byrne wins a piece and attacks the queen. Any normal player would retreat. Fischer plays queen b6. He's not defending, he's counter-attacking. Move 17. Bishop e6. This is the quiet move that changes everything. Fischer offers his queen, not as a blunder, as a sacrifice. Bishop takes b6, bishop takes c4 check, and now the king hunt begins. Knight e2 check, king f1, knight takes d4 check, king g1, knight e2 check, king f1, knight c3 check, king g1. And only now does Fischer take the bishop with a takes b6. He didn't take it immediately. He used the discovered check to win tempo, reposition his knight, and then collected the material. A 13-year-old found this in 1956 without a computer. From here, Fischer's pieces swarm Byrne's position. The rooks infiltrate, the knights dance, the bishop controls everything. Move 36, king f1. Fischer plays knight g3 check, king e1, bishop b4 check, king d1, bishop b3 check, king c1, knight e2 check, king b1, knight c3 check, king c1. And rook c2 is checkmate. The final position is pure art. Fischer's pieces are everywhere, coordinated perfectly, strangling the white king in a mating net built from pure calculation. He was 13. 3 lessons from the game of the century. 1. Don't fear sacrifices if you see the calculation. Fischer gave up his queen because he saw the entire sequence. Trust your vision when the tactics are concrete. 2. Knights can dominate. Fischer's knights were the stars of this game, bouncing around the board, delivering checks and forks. In closed, tactical positions, knights are monsters. 3. Age means nothing in chess. Fischer proved that raw talent and fearless play can overcome decades of experience. The board doesn't care how old you are. Bobby Fischer went on to become world champion in 1972. But many chess historians believe this game, played when he was just 13, was the moment the chess world realized they were looking at a once-in-a-generation genius. Next video, we're covering Kasparov versus Topalov, 1999. Widely considered the greatest combination ever played by a world champion. Subscribe so you don't miss it.